Hey everybody, my name is Skye. We are also joined by Marabella. This is the first full moon ceremony of 2026. Hey Marabella.
Hey Skye, how are you?
I'm so good. We're both here in pink.
Both wearing our pink. So happy to see you. Welcome to everybody in YouTube land as well. I'm really excited. This is, as Skye mentioned, this is our first full moon ceremony of 2026. And today I didn't bring cacao. I brought water because Skye, I was drinking your I made matcha the way that you make it from your last video, and it's so good. It doesn't hurt my tummy, and I just sipped on that like all morning, and so I don't need any cacao.
I love that. And you can bring, guys, there is a what do you want to call it? A cacao ceremony kit that has, and it talks in there about how you can bring tea or juice or water or matcha or whatever you feel. It's all about the intentions in the drink. So it's in the description for this video. And I can see people joining. Hello, everybody. We will take questions toward the end of this. So you can put your questions as we go, but we are going to do the full moon ceremony. I have cacao. Yeah, I have cacao.
How can, maybe either now or maybe a little later, I feel so called this full moon to go completely raw. I have been high raw, which means for me that I'm raw during the day, and then I'll have like cooked vegan in the night. Not every single night, but more often now. Like it seems like the more I have it, the more I have it. So because I'm going to be working on the a raw vegan bundle, I want to stay 100% in the raw energy. And today I started that off with having the raw or the cold matcha. Typically I would mix with hot water, and I made powdered coconut milk, and then I used that in with the matcha and lots of ice, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And
Yeah.
I remember you saying that you couldn't do this if it wasn't fun, and how beautiful the foods. We talked about that in either our Raw Magic podcast or we talked about it in another full moon cacao ceremony. But I like things really pretty too. That's one of the things that keeps me raw, is I love like the beautiful fruits and vegetables, and how when we're working with the vegetables, chopping and all that, I just love their vibrations. So how do you make your raw cacao?
Okay, so there is a link to how I make it, but because I'm doing keto, it's a little different. And we can talk more about why I was called back, because I haven't done cacao in a while, and that is to do with my hormones whenever they change. Even after having a full hysterectomy, if I change my hormone replacement therapy, I notice all of a sudden I want chocolate. And people who have cycles still talk about this, so we could talk about that later.
Yes.
As for how I make this keto, I just put some ceremonial grade cacao in the blender with some homemade hemp milk. I then I've got it sitting.
Powdered? Is it powdered cacao, or is
No, it's ceremonial grade. I use ceremonial grade.
Yeah.
I think also if you're doing the raw vegan bundle, you'll see that fermented foods, because it's a fermented food, and something like also you can use miso, which is essentially cooked, but it's once you ferment something, it kind of comes back to life. And it's up to each person to decide what they want on their raw journey. Where with me, the moment I go to a stove and cook something or heat something, I'm high raw. But so I don't even have an oven. But so far, I'm still doing like powders and things which are helping me on my journey. And ceremonial grade cacao, for me, I'm happy, but each to their own. It's each person's decision. And then I use just some monk fruit sweetener in that, and a crack of salt. That's how I made it today. That's how I was called to make it. But speaking of fun, that you've hit the nail on the head. Sometimes I'm still raw vegan because of fun, and I'm about to pour myself mineral water into a wine glass, and that is because it makes me happy. It's fun. The bubbles are fun. I mean,
Yes.
ideal, I would love to afford all of this in a glass bottle, but I don't. So I'm not going to beat myself up. I meet myself wherever I'm at. And I was very much real about that when I first went raw. Like, what is possible here?
Yes.
So I've sometimes put some ice in it, but the bubbles make me so happy. Like, this makes me, and in a wine glass, it's just like I came out of the bathroom in like my little shorts and a crop top, and I've been doing it like my hair, and I had a wine glass, and I'm like, did I ever really, and I had music playing. I'm like, did I ever need to really drink? I'm so happy right now.
Yes, yes, just in those moments. I put them, I'll show you. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I put
And I can see people, anyone writing
in a
comments, we're
pretty
going
glass
to
too.
join that at the end. Address
Yeah.
those. Oh, is
And
that your matcha?
and it's matcha, it's coconut milk, matcha, and water. That's it. There's
I
nothing
love
else.
that. And lots of ice.
And lots of ice. And it's still so foamy,
Yes.
like frothy. And this glass, it's hard to tell right now, but it's a pink glass too. And
Oh,
it made me so I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, like my mind just opened up to something new and it was so fantastic. And that led me on to our year is the year of the fire horse. So here is a picture of,
oh.
and it says, not a flame creativity. So, okay, so with this full moon, our full moon is the full wolf moon in Cancer, which Cancer represents home, security, love. And our year is this fire horse, which is all about action and ideas and creativity. And so I was thinking that maybe we would do our raw magic on next Saturday, which will be 111, which is like this beautiful portal for manifesting. And if we can, we'll see scheduling. But yeah, so we're coming into creativity. And when I had Skye's matcha, it was like my brain opened to the possibility of what could be. Not just because I feel like a lot of times when I would make matcha, I would make it with hot water. Then I would add the coconut milk or the cashew milk. And this was a completely different way of doing it, a way of staying fully raw. And it was so much fun. Like, I think sometimes we think we're limited on a raw diet, but we're not. There's so much to choose from and so many different ways to create. And everything is allowable, on the raw. Everything goes together. All the fruits and vegetables go together. And so it's like tapping into our creativity. And I feel like that is the message of 2026. And also, when you open your mind, I feel like, we talk about nature and we talk about ideas coming to us. And sometimes when ideas come to us, we like they're little nudges and we tend to push them away or think, this isn't for me, I can't do this, or this is going to be really hard. We tend to put our blocks on it. So I guess my challenge to myself and to everyone else is to just listen to those nudges and maybe ask for more. So like an angel or a guide or your guidance isn't going to like push its way into you. But if you get a little nudge, you can ask for more. You can say, what else is there? You can go out into nature and send love out to nature. And then what comes back is so amazing. So that's what I know I wanted to talk about intentions this year or this time, but honestly, I didn't make any intentions because I felt like last year I made intentions and I lost them. And then I just kind of went with it. I just kind of used my intuition and followed along. And that was the best. The best. I mean, there was one sad point in my last year, but the rest was so fantastic. Just following along, trusting myself, trusting in what comes next. So I feel like in 2026, we're going to use our creativity more. It's really going to be a fiery, fast year, a year of like changes. And so just kind of knowing what you want or what the feel of what you want, you can write it down, but you don't necessarily have to, but you can. But just allowing for that and just noticing the little nudges like that. I don't know, your video when I watched it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so great. You look like a breath of fresh air." Everything looks so like your teeth were white, your outfit was white, your room was white, and then you were showing all your creativity, just sharing with us. It was so beautiful. And it like triggered something in me and I was like,
Oh, that
"I'm
means
making this
so much
manifest."
to me. That that means so much to me. And so those joining, yes, it is live. We will be taking questions at the end. So
Oh, I
what
think it says, "Is this love?"
I think it was a spelling mistake, but I don't know. It is love. It's pure
It's
love.
love. It's
It's
love.
love. Like my ability, what this year is exactly the same for me. What people have to understand is when I went raw, it wasn't so much about this is what it was knowing that this will heal me. I felt like the universe was constantly testing me. Like it was constantly saying, how much do you love yourself? That's the one question that I've always asked. And so I was on disability payments and I was disconnected from most of my family. I'd been homeless. I had my first place and I knew raw foods worked. So my money went to rent. And then I would go to pay for groceries, and these voices would come to me and start saying, you can't afford this, all your money on food. And that's conditioned, right? And I had to go, no, Skye, you're worth this. This is what the universe is wanting to know, how much you're worth. Bip, 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 you pay for it. And then you get a little bit better. And it's
Yes.
not just about food, like that's a baby step, forward. And always my money went, and it still does to this day. Once I have more, it can go to other things. But it also comes off the back of people like Bashar and Dolores Cannon and Louise Hay, who say, we keep shutting ourselves down and not following what we're here to do, and wonder why we end up sick and broken and in disease and miserable. And it's a real test. And I feel like it sits next to me doing self-love and self-care every day, making good choices. You then can have the life of your dreams, where it's like a test where even when I started doing YouTube and I just hit 10,000 and I'm so
Yes, you
excited
did.
and
I'm
I
so
love,
excited for you.
yay,
Yay for
I love
Skye.
all you guys. But like at this, when you first start, is not many people are watching. Not many people are responding, and also you're not making much money to live off. And it's not about needing to be a millionaire. It's about having money to live off, right? And the question starts coming up, when you do health coaching, are you going to push this? And it's like, no, I feel people who need the health coaching will naturally gravitate. I don't have to go out there and keep pushing, but I could feel the calling. And it's like when I contacted you and I said, let's make this into a podcast. It's not that I think it'll make us billions, but there's a calling. And it's all these spiritual guidance and people who are explore these different realms keep saying that we're supposed to follow this creativity as it comes up and listen to the true heart. And I had this song on before. I was actually going to do a reel called My Head and My Heart. Have you heard this song? I can't tell them apart. I'm
Oh, I
singing
love
really badly,
that.
guys.
No,
But
I
like
don't
it's
know
like
that
that.
song.
Sometimes we can't tell our head and our heart. I would play a bit more on YouTube. It will just
Oh,
be cut out. So, but it's like that is, it's my head and my heart. I can't tell them apart. And you want to train yourself, because your heart, you feel everywhere. As you gravitate towards it, it feels right. When it's your
yes.
head, there'll be doubt, there'll be shame, there'll be scared. You'll be like, oh, but I'll get money. And so what you said completely resonates with me. As in, like, I feel I'm on exactly the same path. This year is just more about engrossing myself into what feels right. And the universe will just always, it always shows up. If I've looked after myself and followed that heart energy, is you just keep going. The universe will hold you.
Yes. And there are no coincidences. That wasn't a slip. The love in the chat box was definitely where we were
Yes.
headed. So that's so good. But yeah, the self-love hits it right for me too. When sometimes we get those voices like inside, we know something. We may not know the path to where we want to be, which is totally fine. We're not actually supposed to know the path. Because if we knew the path, we would be so, some of us would be so um, consumed with trying to do it right, trying to get there sooner. So that's why we have our intuition, is to tune into our intuition and to kind of follow the steps and to answer the calling. So, like, I got to answer Skye's calling when she said, "I'd like to interview you." And I said, "Okay, yes, yes." And now we're working on doing a podcast together. And it's just, yes, like, I have no idea how it's all going to come together, but it will, because we feel like this is our next step. So, yeah, so it is about that self-love. And every one of us, I think we forget at times how worthy we are and how meant to be here we are. Even when we don't feel, we have down days or things happen to us that we wish didn't happen to us, we are meant to be here. All of us are meant to be here. And there is that love vibration that we can always step into. And it feels so good to say yes to that next step, to just, and also to know that life is incredibly short. So,
Yes.
it's like, take that step. And then if it doesn't work out, it's okay. At least you've tried. If you don't try, you're going to feel small, and you won't feel as good as if you try. If you try and you fail, great. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. And they always say, so many failures before you actually make it. But I don't think those are failures. Each thing is teaching you something. You're learning something, and everything like builds upon the next thing. And so it's finding that intuition. And I feel like just tuning into your heart space is a great way to start with that. And even taking some deep breaths, and when we have like our drinks, whatever it is that we're sipping, if we intentionally take drinks of what we have. I've got my water, Skye has her cacao. Just being intentional with that, and thanking what we have. Thank you for the cacao. Thank you for the cacao. All the hands that touch the cacao before you have it. Even going so far as you can put intentions into what you're making or what you're drinking. Did you put intentions into your cacao when you were making it?
I always put love. When
Yeah.
people say, "What's your New Year's resolution?" I'm like, more love, but I'm open to this creativity part of myself now, because a lot of the pain and suffering feels like it's behind me.
Yes.
But I'm happy to just put love into everything, because it's underrated. It's why we're here. It's what gets me the furthest. I can't seem to do wrong if I trust in love. And so I just usually say love. And also, the more you say love, and I've told you this, sometimes I run along the beach, and that when I'm breathing, I just say love, love, love. And so when something which is like hard and challenging happens, what do you think my default is? My brain still seeks out love. If you seek out negativity, and most of us unfortunately have, because it's a very fear-driven consciousness that the planet can be in, but there's a lot of love there. If you start looking for little bits of love in every view, like Marabella, I love you, I love all the followers, I love all the comments, is the more you say love, is your subconscious starts to, on the next time you turn your head, you're like, oh, I love that it's a sunny day, and you just keep defaulting back. But the
Yes.
only thing that fogs up any of that is truly the past 40 years of conditioning, that it's fear-based. And if I start then going, oh, I need to watch the news, I need to watch fear-based things, I'm like, they're going to be there whether I watch it or not. If something dramatic really happens, it does come up on social media, like that I need to know, those like important things. Besides that, I'm a love seeker. I'm out there seeking love.
Yes, it is. It's all about love. And you can even turn into that when something happens that you don't like, you can love that too, because that's going to teach you something that is there for you as well. So it's a rainy day. I love that it's a rainy day. It's so great. I love it. It's snowing. I love it.
Yes, and
And
even
yeah.
I was just going to say, just about even the reason I can do what I do now is because I was in bed for 15 years. I missed my childhood, most of my time growing up. I was so sick, having 60 surgeries, having organs removed. Is you can look at that like poor me, but the raw food really teaches me, nature teaches me to say my strength comes from my dark. Like all my strength comes from my dark. Once I'm in the light, all I can do is seek out more love. Otherwise, I seem to default back to the dark. And
Right.
sometimes you want to go back to the dark. Your soul is asked for that because there's lessons there. But the more
Mhm.
you see that your greatest things that you can teach people is what you've overcome. And it helps,
Mm.
like I know often that people that follow me or that I'm connected with will not have to go as deep as I did because of the lessons I've learned and can now share.
Yes, yeah, I love that. Our darkest, how did you word that?
So our dark becomes our greatest light. Like the reason we can shine in the light is because of our dark. And I always bring this up. I don't know whether I've said this to you, but someone like Ed Sheeran says when he wins a Grammy, he learns nothing. When he had a lisp as a child and didn't play after school, he sat in his room and learnt music to fix his lisp. And he said that was, hard, but that's the work. He goes, or a business partner leaves. He goes, that's when I learn. He goes, when I win all these fantastic things, he goes, I don't learn anything. He goes, I'm just shining. And
Mhm.
I really think that's true for
Mhm.
all of us. If we could understand that the reason we shine so bright is
Yeah.
because of what we've achieved, like what we've overcome in the dark.
Mhm. Yeah, I received a message today that said, "Shine and trust. Allow yourself to shine and
Oh.
trust." So that goes right along with that. And it's true, the darkness does make us who we are right in this moment. But we get to choose if we're going to go in the light with that and help others, or if we're going to go into the dark and stay. But
Yeah, I mean,
eventually, it gets to a point where it's painful to stay in the dark. The light
yes.
offers so much, and not like I've said this before, not that you don't see the dark, it's still there, you see it, but you're, from a higher perspective in the light.
One thing about some of my darkest days and always clinging to the light is there is light in every situation. And if you don't believe, but in your heart there's still light, is light will just come along. It will just, it really does. It's worth, when sometimes when you're in hospital, sometimes you don't see many people except maybe my mum and a nurse. But if you smile and you're happy and you converse, that you get to talk to somebody, right?
Mhm,
And that's enough for there. But also in most religions, and even when you talk about how the universe was created and, God energy
mhm,
is this always like sacred geometry. They talk about in the darkness, there's a point of light.
mm,
And that stretches out into sacred geometry and different shapes in the flower of life. But first off, it's a point, and then it moves across, and then it starts to design. But it can only be there because of the dark. Like the light only shines throughout the whole universe because there is darkness. If you take away the darkness, it all mushy mushies. Mushy mushies. I
Mushy mushies.
don't
I
know
love that word. Skyism, smooshy mushies.
that. I like that. But also, when you hear religions, is first came light, like from the darkness,
Yes,
there was light. It
right.
doesn't matter where you are. And so remember, people forget, well, what was going on in the dark? Well, we each have to face our dark. And,
Mhm,
there's so many different examples of these. It's even like when you trust in experts, say a doctor who's a surgeon and you're about to have your knee done, you don't want somebody straight out of university. You want someone who's had these experiences of ups and downs and challenges and life trials before they
right.
get to you. Like the life lessons is what we as humans are really here for. But yeah, don't underestimate the power of what you can do from being in the dark.
I really love that, and I love that description of where, in the darkness, there's that point of light, and then it just can spread. I
Yeah.
really, really like that, and it makes me appreciate darkness a lot more. Like, there's some richness there, and there's some learning, so that when you can when you tune into the light, you've got all this wisdom, and you've got a past to draw upon, which makes life so much richer. Think about how amazing it is for you having gone through the dark contrast and now being in the light. Me as well. My darkness was more relationship than health. I think my on the planet, my I don't know, my
Your
little
lesson?
thank you. My lessons are all in relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of my zodiac chart and where my little characters are put, and it's all like in relationship, health and fitness. So, but anyway, yeah, I love that picture of the light, and then how
Yeah.
it mushes out into
It would be mushy mushy if there was no darkness. It would just all mush
right.
together. Like we
Yeah.
need the structure comes from the contrast of like the duality of that, and that and I heard, who was it? It was Bashar was saying, I saw yesterday. I love following Bashar, and whether he's an alien, a higher entity, a higher consciousness, I just resonate so much. And now I've gone off on how much I like him, and I have to think for a minute. He said we are not like physical reality. He said we're still all souls here. The soul has projected once again a point of density. Like basically the soul has enough energy and we've created this density, but we are all souls still here. We just choose to have these life lessons and experiences, and the more we can open up to that, the more. And I'm not. This isn't. What do we call it? Toxic positivity, because you're
Right.
allowed to be. I know. Sadly, you lost your dog last year, and you're definitely allowed to mourn and be sad. But how beautiful is it if, once you get through that, you can appreciate all the love and joy that you shared, and all the memories, and all the things you learnt from your dog. I'm sorry, I don't want to upset you.
Yeah. No.
Like this, you don't want to stay in, because we become quite toxic. We can
Yes.
become the emotion. We are. I mean, emotion is energy, just in motion, and we are energy.
Right. And it's kind of like knowing that we're all energy, and like she passed away, but she's still around. I can tell. I get sense from her, but I also now I have a new puppy. My husband knew how sad I was and mopey and wasn't like me, so he got me a new puppy, and even though I still miss my other puppy, she brings this happiness and joy back to my spirit. She brought me back to life. So otherwise I would probably still be sad. But
Yeah, that's what it is, right? Dogs bring you joy, so that you've
yeah.
learned that lesson, and you reconnect to more of it. But I just like, everyone out there can hear this and feel really overwhelmed by it, but all it takes is starting to see a little light wherever you are, a little, and before you know it, you've got to build on it. Rome wasn't built in a day. We
Right.
got to start with the baby steps. It's like, even I just gave the example of my YouTube channel. It was not built in a day. It took years. But then you get step by step. I love listening to music and thinking like day by day. You just brick by brick. So just step by step, guys, and just try and practice choosing love, and see how much it can change your life.
Yeah. And it's easy. I know we talk about nature on here all the time, but to walk out and appreciate just a flower or a tree, and to feel with your heart, when you literally put your hand on your heart and you put your focus on your heart, it takes you out of your brain and all the things that are the little voices or whatever's going on for you, and it puts you right here. It puts you right here, right now, where you are safe in this moment. And when you know that you're safe, then with your eyes you can focus in on something beautiful, a river, a lake, and that just takes you out of yourself and it connects you in with the divine. And so that's a really good start, a really good place to start. And that also goes back to the self-love. I know a lot of times we want to be so critical and hard on ourselves, and earth is it's a planet of duality. So we've got, like we've been talking about, the dark and the light. And so coming back into our heart space allows us to have compassion for ourselves. And then also it connects us to others, because we see that we're all so similar. We all have hopes, dreams, desires. We've had good things, not so good things. We're all kind of on the same playing field. So tuning back in, as Skye says, in the self-love. And gosh, I just want to say, with your channel, I'm kind of taking a different route now. Skye, I'm so proud of you with your 10,000 subscribers. And I have seen you. She's so present. You show up. You work so hard. And I think you love this. I don't think you could
I
do this if you didn't
do.
just love it.
I do. It's like
Yeah.
one of those things, as soon as I have feelings, emotions, or thoughts or lessons, I just jump on and do live, or I create a video, or I share a reel, because where I was when I was really sick is, as much as my family could afford, and Australia is a very great place where top doctors and professors and all of that, is the fact that it was just life lessons which saved my life, like literally guided me into thinking about, well, I couldn't really think at the time, but just nature is, and I learned so much when people tell me things going on in their bodies, like lessons they've learned. And I feel like we as a society have forgotten this. It's like that head and my heart, like we get so heady. And when my head shut down, what my heart was able to do when it connected to the divine, which is nature, which is, leaves and fruits and nuts and seeds are like they're literally sunlight just packaged into density so we can have them. And so I do that because it's so powerful, and I love everybody in the community, and I love doing this, and it's such a part of my soul. Like I can't separate that now.
Your words make me so happy, and this is such a wonderful community, so loving and accepting. I just love it here so much, and you deserve like the 10,000. I see you at 1,000,000.
Oh,
To
I'm
be
so
1,000,000
meant to
before we
reach
know
a
it.
million people. All
That'd
these
be
people out there.
yeah, so beautiful. And so you said something so profound that you had in Australia, you were seen by several doctors, really good, renowned doctors, but it was the everyday life lessons that really saved you. And
Yeah,
what was like that turning point?
sure. Okay, so if you don't know, so like top professors, doctors, 60 surgeries, carers, just I've always said it would be about $1,000,000 was spent on me, and all I did is get sicker and sicker. And then I started drinking alcohol. I was vegan. I started drinking alcohol to cope with the PTSD. My liver started failing. I had FND at this point where I was having like seizures and couldn't move for periods of time. Then I'd move a bit, and it's not a nice thing, but I had PTSD. So drinking slowed a lot of my PTSD. Did not help with the FND, but the PTSD, it helped a lot. And then my liver failed. My parents said, you can't come home. We've cared for you your entire life. And so I tried to go to rehab, kept having seizures, ended up in hospital, was sleeping outside of hospitals. When you've got FND, it's hard for you to use electronics. It's hard for you to move your limbs. If you can walk, it's a good day. So I just slept outside hospitals, and then my brother-in-law would help me get hotel rooms, but then I'd just go wandering and forget where I was, and then the police would pick me up and put me in psychiatric units again. So it was basically kind of between living outdoors, hotel, homeless. That's what homelessness is like, right? You're kind of jutting around. You got nowhere, no base. And then someone, I can't remember how this all went down because my brain's a bit foggy. Someone helped me get a apartment. And from there, it was like, and it's a funny little apartment, but my memory of it is like beyond heaven. Like it was like, I'm safe, and all I got to do is eat and shower. That's where I got to. But the life lessons were, I couldn't access my university brain. Years, if you've been chronically ill, you read and you read and you read, and there's a new specialist, a new expert, a new doctor, it just goes on and on and on. And I had no access to that having FND. It's like, and PTSD, it was like my brain was not working properly. But what I did notice in what I call my awakening, because I had a dissociation where I lost a lot of my memory back in 2018 and ended up in a psychiatric unit for months back then. And I feel like during that period, I learned a very large lesson, and that is the power of nature. Even being locked up in psych units, I would just stare out at the moon, because you're not outside often, or the sun and the leaves. Like I had no one when you're in there. And I've been in bed for 15 years, and I come off all this medication. My nervous system was beyond hell. Like I don't think there's a darker place than where I've been at points. But then it gets darker. But anyway, I knew the power of nature, but then I felt nature was always with me throughout the next 5, 6, 7 years, like music and nature. And I was learning, I went paleo, and then I went vegan, whole food, and then I went raw. But how I went raw was I was just too sick in my little apartment to make my food. I usually had hospitals or carers or someone making food for me. And so I would just eat it raw. And then I would get up, and then I would be well enough or feeling better. So I'd make some dry roasted pumpkin with basil, tomato, whatever, back in bed. Like heart palpitations, FND, forgetting to do things, just having addictions come over me, shaky. And as soon as I ate fresh food, not complicated, most of it was celery, carrot. This is what I remember. What else? Cucumber, greens, a few nuts and seeds, a few mouthfuls of sauerkraut. That was pretty much it. I don't think there was much fruit maybe in the next few weeks. And then I would eat like steamed cauliflower and not get up. And I'm like, okay, Skye, what are you here willing to do? And this is a very key point anyone with chronic illness needs to know. Is my normal days being chronically sick could not possibly, now I was starting to feel a little bit of life force and goodness, could not possibly be as hard as a challenging raw food day. Like I've been through so much, and that's what keeps me raw, right? Is going back would be so, what is it worth a hamburger or worth a glass of wine? Is that suffering is so intense and so inflammatory that it's worth just going through a few days dealing with addiction. Like that is not, because they're still eating fresh food, you're talking to beautiful people. It's never anything I've been challenged with since going raw is not even a smidge of what I used to deal with, or especially my turning point. And then off the back of that, some of the life lessons that came to me was the best I ever felt in my life was in the ocean as a kid, like jumping, or school holidays, running around with no shoes on outdoors. It was never a movie. It was never something, even like I lived on the water, had boats and jet skis and like wakeboards. And it wasn't even those things. It was just the laughing outdoors and running around with no shoes on. And the other thing that came to me was a couple of things. My dad ate a lot of raw food in his life and he never got sick. Like, so there were these life lessons. And there's another one, getting a little long here, but these are what came over me, like all over me. And the one thing that stands out, right, is the rawest in nature that I did better. So I used nature to support, and nature was already doing that. The last key, I call raw food the key. The key to unlock the entire universe and yourself as you should be. And yes, there's other things like, so nature and raw food, but raw food unlocks nature to this whole new level. And because a lot of people, like I healed with like yoga and breath work, and you definitely can do that. But the key to getting absolute exponential potential out of all of these natural healing modalities is, in my eyes, raw food for my body and soul. What I learn when my body is full of raw foods is just completely different to where I was.
Yes. You're such a huge inspiration. If she can go from being like almost dead, like in the depths of despair and illness and sickness, and then the raw foods heal you, that is so incredible. And so for me too, I just say healing myself, becoming like my true self.
Yeah.
I did yoga, and I had a lot of other things, healing techniques. I have all that in a toolbox. But when I went raw, it was like it was like the top of being spiritual. I don't know how to put that into words. Like everything else, yes, helped. Yes. Everything I have have a tool for this. I could do tapping, hypnotherapy. I can, but the raw is where I felt like myself. Like I feel like who I am, like who I'm supposed to be. And then that creates such a connection with the divine. And it's just natural. It's like when you're walking in nature and you're connecting in instead of like walking as fast as you can. My son, when we go hiking, he likes to go fast and I'm teaching him how to connect in with nature more. He's doing it more. But when we first went hiking together, he wanted to get through the woods as fast as possible. That was his. And I was noticing every flower, every tree. So now we kind of do both. But it's the difference of having all these tools. But then when you change your diet, it comes from within. Like you just feel better. And then like your addictions, different things that you would use food for to numb. That's where doing the raw food bundle and going all raw. The reason why I would do some cooked or cooked in the evening was because it would help me to connect and feel like that cozy feeling. So
Yes.
now to have that cozy feeling, I'm going to have maybe sit in my heated blankie. Like I love to do that anyway. So from it's not that I can't have the cooked, I still could if I wanted to, but I'm switching the food as comfort. I'm switching now to comfort in the evening, maybe candles or the heated blanket or some soothing piece of music, a hot bath, that type of thing. And more
Yeah.
love rather than trying to get that feeling from a food.
Yes. And also just know is you can retrain. So I get through wanting cozy moments too. And it's not every day because I like the light feeling of the raw foods. And
Mhm.
this is not going off track, is that's where recipes for me are so huge. Like if I want a big bowl of pasta, I'll just make it raw. If I've been craving pizza, I'll just make it raw. And the more you do it, your brain just forgets. It actually thinks when I make my food that it's eating like cooked food. But it's not for me and most people, it's not so much you want cooked food, it's you wanting to tap into a memory of that. It's not so much the mouthful that you ate. It's the fact that Sunday nights were like pizza night after you'd run around with the local kids all day, and it might be a summer thing where your family's off and you have this beautiful memory, and you want to tap into that. And so I find by doing creating raw foods, and I actually really enjoy immersing myself in these memories because I live alone. So I actually can fully embrace it. But I'm hoping, Marabella, even with people around eating cooked food, you do connect more if you match energy around people, that you'll be able to create amazing recipes that work for you.
Yes, and they are open to trying them too. So we'll all be eating at least and when I make dinners, I will make a couple choices for like salad and then a vegetable for them too. And they eat more raw than they realize that they do.
You
So
go, girl.
instead of just
You're teaching
connecting, yeah, yeah. And then um and they have their like preferences. They'll tell me I'm in the summer I made a raw vegan strawberry tart and it was so delicious. It was
Oh
so
my
good.
God, sounds so
It
good.
was so good.
That sounds amazing. So we should start the ceremony. We've got so excited about all that the raw food does. Let
Yes.
you go, you take us through the ceremony. I do have my fairies here. So
Oh,
if you've been on the
good.
lives before, you know that these are some of the fairies that sat next to my bed. They're from around the world that I was gifted when I was really sick. So I had a swarm, I'll call them a swarm of fairies, and these were the ones that I was called to have with me today. She's got
Uh-huh.
a little crystal in her chest. But
I
yeah,
love
it's
it.
taken me almost 5 years, so 4.5 years for me to face opening those again, because of course when you open something like that, you get memories.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm doing a lot of healing, and these guys sat through me through a period where no one thought I'd make it. So they're back.
Wow,
In
that's
fact, I say 5 years, but essentially I didn't bring them out when we moved. So it's actually almost 9 years I have not seen these, because we
wow.
moved and then these got put. There's different stages of me being very sick. These got put into a box. These were at the house my sister lives in now. So
They're so beautiful.
yeah,
Yay. Okay, so
that's
what I
so
thought we would do for today is go ahead and just grab your drink of choice. If you don't have a drink, that's okay too. You can just put your hands on your heart and we'll just start by being here now. Just noticing where we're sitting or standing or lying, and just allowing ourselves to fully feel ourselves connected in this moment. And if you have a beverage or something to drink, you can go ahead and take a nice sip, noticing how that feels as it goes down. And we just are thankful for what we have. And go ahead and put your hand on your heart, and we'll go ahead and take a nice deep breath in and a slow exhale out. And just imagining that our heart has a string on the lower half, and this string goes down into the earth and connects us into the beautiful crystal in the center of the earth, which is the crystal of Mama Gaia, helping us to stay grounded. And then from the top of our heart, it draws up into the heavens, into Father Sky, so that now we are connected and centered in. And we're just going to take a little journey right now. And we're going to imagine the best parts of 2025, noticing what we loved about the year, and noticing all of the best parts. And this year, 2025 was actually year of the snake, and it will fully turn over, I think, February 11th, and we'll go into the year of the fire horse, or I like to say the fire unicorn. So we're just going to imagine ourselves somewhere beautiful, like say we're on a beach, and we're just going to wave goodbye to the year 2025 as we look forward to 2026, the year of the fire. I say fire unicorns. And we spoke earlier of intentions, and that's great if you have intentions, but I'd like for you to tune into your heart for a moment and notice that this is where your intuition lies, one of the spots in our bodies that our intuition lies, as well as in our third eye, which is just above our eyebrows. There might be like a little dent. And we're just going to allow some downloads to come in for our 2026 year. And it can be intentions, it can be feelings, it can be actions. Just noticing what 2026 has for you, or what you'd like it to have for you. And so as we're on this beautiful beach or wherever we are, we're noticing the downloads, the pictures. Just take a moment to see, sense, hear, or feel the feelings of 2026 for you. The overall is fire, energy, activity, dreams, creativity. But how does this feel real for you? What is coming in for you? And just take a few moments to see what this year has in store for you, or what it would like to have in store for you. As we're breathing in, breathing into that creativity, knowing that anything is possible. Maybe you want to enjoy more raw foods. Maybe like Skye and I, you want to create a podcast. Maybe it's more personal, healing relationships. And we just allow whatever's coming in now. And taking a nice deep breath in, nice cleansing breath in. And letting it go. And so it is, and opening your eyes when you're ready. And I'd love to hear what anybody what their feelings are, what's coming up for them as far as intentions or just feelings.
Anybody out there want to share what was coming through for them? So mine really felt like, usually feel like I get really big downloads, but maybe what I had to learn there was how anchored I felt when you described. So first off, when you described like imagining from your heart a string going down through earth, my string goes straight through the earth and just shot out to the universe, right? But then, I know, but that's very me, right? Because then when you imagine the top of your heart in the universe, I've just got explosions coming out. Okay, there's just like it's woo! But then you said, the crystal in the middle, and let it tie in and move down and connect, is I started to feel very grounded, like very anchored, which there's all different ways you can see spirituality, and you can move through different ways. And I've felt when I sometimes have done raw that I'm very like light energy. And I'm going through a period where I feel like anchoring is really important for me to fulfill what I'm here on earth to do, where you're more grounded. And so that tied me more to like have my everything not flying out of me, if that makes sense. I don't completely understand it yet, but as I was like downloads and memories, it was very blank, but maybe that's what I need, because my mind, as you can hear, is very chattery, very explosive. So I feel like that was this lesson where I'm getting more grounded into what I'm destined here on Mother Earth to do, because I can be very ungrounded, which isn't a bad thing, but we go through stages. So what about you, Marabella? What were your downloads like?
Yeah, definitely felt the need to, or I actually felt really grounded into this meditation and very centered. And in my zodiac chart, I have a lot of earth. And so, but my main sign is an air sign. And so I can be very ungrounded too sometimes, and just my thoughts go all over the place. And so for me, I know it's a time, it felt like a time of really fast action. Like I could see the fire unicorn running on the beach. Like I could see it. And yet at the same time, for me to have that earthiness and to continue to follow my intuition and not let that speed knock me off my orbit. Not be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this," but to just go with it step by step by step by step. So staying grounded, walking on the beach, that's kind of what I was seeing and feeling. I just felt so centered, and I felt comfortable too. I know that for me, in order for me to blossom, I need to get uncomfortable, but I'm craving comfort. And so I saw myself grounded, feeling comfortable, and still able to take off.
I love that. I love that. And let's just touch for a minute on the fact, like you're like saying to me, you're so proud of me, 10,000
Yes.
YouTubers. But what's really inspiring about you, which I hope inspires other people, is you've told me how shy
Yeah.
you were. And to overcome that and even be on camera and do a
Yeah.
podcast, to me is massive. Like
Oh my
that's huge.
Yeah, it's so huge. I was so shy, and I can even remember when we first did our first podcast together, I, like, completely blanked out. I was there, but not really, and so I feel like now I'm here. It's huge to
Yes, that is huge.
it was a
That's like,
huge
because the first step is always the hardest, because it's into the
Mhm.
unknown. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's very common as well. And so you overcome it, you just keep going, and then be around
Mhm.
people who support you, who will talk while you need a moment to recalibrate, and then look, you end up here, right?
Right, and keep going. I think that's our message too for 2026. Keep going. Keep going.
Yes, yes, the sky's the limit.
Yes, Skye. She has no limits. She's
That's
out
true.
in the
That's why I think that
universe.
anchoring was like really good, because it brings me back down a bit more centered, instead of like woo,
Right.
which is
Yeah,
fun, but sometimes you want to come back down.
right. So good. Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on today? Any questions out there?
Yeah, any questions out there? Now's a good time for questions and Answers. Let's see.
So there is this one. I'm not sure if Zagonaut is still there. It's interesting that you said it's going to be fiery. I'm actually a fire sign. I'm
You
a Leo.
are.
I'm like, woo.
Well, I like flame your fire, the air. I'm like, go,
Yes, you
go,
make me burn.
go.
There was fire in Switzerland. Then fire was seen in Venezuela due to USA bombing. And that, I'm so sorry about that. But it's also about the strength that when people go through things like this, that it's possible to overcome. And sometimes it brings people in communities closer together.
Right. Yeah, I know. I really feel like there are a lot of things going on, and I really feel like we are all ascending. And so sometimes in order to get to the place where we need to be as people on the earth, things happen. And then at the end of it, it's going to be okay. But I know we're going through some birthing pains right now, some really tough times. Like I feel very compassionate towards. I don't like to see anyone scared or losing their lives, or I don't like war or anything like that. But I just know that in time we're going to be to a higher plane, to a like a we'll all be ascending. We are all ascending. We are all ascending in our own rate at our own time.
We are. Okay, appreciating what you have done here and doing things with mindfulness. I think that was while you were speaking, Marabella, that was written.
Oh, great. Yes. Mindful. Oh, I think maybe it was when we were drinking the water with mindfulness, drinking our drinks with mindfulness. So
Yes.
in the moment. Yes, thank you.
So not everyone will ascend. Jesus is the way to heaven. And I think the most beautiful thing about being human is love.
Yes.
It's if you want to go with Jesus and through Jesus, is
Yes.
you just focus on that. You don't have to look to the sidelines.
Right.
Because people, you can't control people. People may one day will be ascending with Jesus in their mind and their consciousness, and then the next day they may do something different. So it's best, if that is you, is there's no need to look on the sidelines. You're so engulfed by what it is that your love will take you where you need. And that's with all ascension and love and religion and belief systems.
Yes, I agree. And I feel like Jesus is you're correct in that. You're correct. So you will, like, you can have peace in that for yourself.
That's yes. So because even if you were jumped into somebody else's mind and heart, is what they believe would nothing be like you. As much as you think it's the same, just because they say the same name, it's someone's life experience, even a day's worth of experience. Like Marabella and I can sound like we are speaking about the same thing, but our lives are completely different. Our realities are. So I can't control that, but I can control the love that I put into any belief system or beliefs that I had. So that's really important for people. We don't have to say what others are doing. We can just say where we're going.
Right, right. And stay open-minded too, because just allowing for other thoughts and other people's opinions can be so helpful. And like you said, everybody has their own journey, and a lot of time I love to find out the spiritual aspect of people's journeys and what saved them and what got them there, and that can help us. We always want to stay open so that we're not judging, because
That's it. That's the
everybody's
bingo.
so different. Everyone's so different.
That's what we're not here to do. It's
Right.
about love.
Yes.
So we've got some Jesus didn't believe, and these are all not facts. These are your interpretation, because once again, if you jump into somebody else's brain, even the storyline, the way their brain has created a storyline here in density of earth will be different. And that's just all about where a soul is. So us yelling at somebody or telling somebody what is wrong is actually a negative energy. We're judging another. We just simply, what we learn is love, and of course it can be shared, but we have beyond no control over another soul. So we just, all that energy we put out there to say things of other people, we just keep putting back into our own belief system. Just going to be different for all.
Yeah, it is all about love, and the best way is to be a good example. I feel like that is to show others.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yes, that's probably, when I think of Jesus consciousness, which in my reality it is one of the highest consciousness there is do not so much as he says, but live the life as virtuous as he. Like, I'm not here to be, he was never like, I want to be, this is my interpretation. His consciousness was not to be a rock star, but the life he led, the lessons are like, and that's like a lot of people in these scriptures, is what they did for themselves and essentially humanity is what I would love to be able to reach, right? Is to be and learn from the love.
The love, yes.
The love.
That was the highest vibration.
Yes, guys. So this is amazing. I love this so much, the full moon, and sharing and talking more about love and more love.
Yay. So good.
So, hey, Denise. Hey, everybody who joined us. So, Aria, Lizzie, let me pull this down. Lisa, Robert, Zargonaut Knight, I think that's how you pronounce it. Tessa was up there at the start. So thanks, everybody, for joining. As we've mentioned here, Marabella and I are planning on moving our podcast onto like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because we just think it be so magical for people to listen to this no matter where they are, what platform they're on. And
absolutely. Yay, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you this week. I think we're back this week with the Raw Magic podcast. So we will see you all soon.
See you soon. Love you.
Guys, bye.
Bye.